Hey guys, we're here with our 2019 F-250 Limited, and I just wanted to close out the week with a video of some of the what I would consider the pluses and minuses of this truck. So of course, if you're going to start with the pluses, you have to start with the power of this thing. It's making 450 horsepower, 935 pound-feet of torque out of the 6.7 liter Power Stroke V8 diesel, Ford's own diesel engine. Thing makes ridiculous power. Hooked up with the 6R140 transmission, it pulls fantastically. So huge plus there. I am very anxious to see what will be new for 2020 because we know the 6.7 Power Stroke is getting an update with steel pistons. It already has the updated rods, so I think they're going to carry over the rods that are in this engine, which got a little bit beefier over the last couple of years, into the new engine. But you know, if they're going to go with new steel pistons, that they are planning on higher cylinder pressures, and higher cylinder pressures means probably more power. Now, Dodge already has the Cummins at 1,000 pound-feet of torque, and I doubt that Ford is going to let that reign as the highest torque-producing diesel engine. We're probably going to see the 6.7 Power Stroke go over 1,000 pound-feet of torque. And at 450 horsepower to go over 1,000 pound-feet, they could keep the power the same. It's already ridiculously high, but I would say, I would not doubt that Ford wants to be the first diesel pickup to go to 500 horsepower. That's just my guess. I could be wrong. It's going to be hooked up to the new 10R140 10-speed automatic transmission. But for now, the 6.7 in the 19 and earliers, it's a great engine. Makes fantastic power, and it's very smooth, easy to start. Everything you'd expect from a modern diesel. Now here is a nitpicky down that I don't like. See this fantastic little emblem that lets you know that it's a limited and has your VIN number on it? This thing is metal, and while it looks great and it's a good quality piece, if this thing is out in the sun for an extended period of time, it gets blazing hot. So if you like sear marks on your arm, put your arm on this armrest after this thing's been sitting out in the heat for a few hours. This thing gets ridiculously hot. That's just one little thing I noticed, but a little bit of a pain. Another thing that I wasn't crazy about, and this is just on all of the newer F-Series trucks in general, is this black plastic trim on the doors here. Now it looks great. I have to say, I think it looks fantastic. It makes the greenhouse look bigger. But the problem with this black plastic is, if you look at it wrong, it gets scratched. So like the first time you wash this thing, it's going to get dirty. It's going to get scratches in it. And this truck is basically brand new. You can already see it has some micro swirling in it just from being washed. And eventually these things crack a little bit. I have a Lincoln Aviator that has these on it, and they just don't hold up. The old Super Duty, the pillars, or not the pillars, that section of the door was just painted, and it definitely looked plainer, but it's more robust. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Honestly, if I bought one of these trucks, I would probably just take these little trim pieces off here and wrap them in whatever material you would like. Honestly, I think if you got a white truck and wrapped it in like the fake carbon fiber look, that would be pretty good looking. I would enjoy that. Oh, and along with the windows, this thing has the same problem as the Platinum F-150 we had. This little trim piece on the window sill here on the bottom looks great, but at just the right angle, the sun hits this thing and sends a laser beam into your eyes. It looks good, but practically, it just that one little issue. But moving on to another positive thing, I would have to say, is the steering on this truck. This truck has the best steering I've ever felt in a heavy-duty truck. It's extremely solid feeling, is the best way I can describe it. There's not a lot of play in the steering wheel, and it just feels heavy. And I like a properly heavy feeling to the steering on a big truck like this, especially when you're towing. You don't want loose, floppy steering or something that feels too overboosted. It just feels perfect on this truck. Ford absolutely nailed that. But another thing that I didn't like that goes along with the heavy towing, this truck has the Gooseneck Hitch equipped with it, which is a fantastic option. It's great that Ford started to install the gooseneck from the factory in these things. But the weird part is they make you buy the ball and the tie downs separately. I don't understand why that's a standalone option. You would think if you ordered, the Gooseneck Hitch, that you would want the ball because it's a unique Ford only item. I mean, I can see having it as a service item in case somebody, loses the gooseneck ball, but why have that as a separate option on the sticker? You would think, if you're going to order this, you're going to want the ball, so I don't know. I would include that in the sticker price. But that's just a little nitpicky thing. You would think they would just put that together. But on the up note, another positive, I love the way this truck sounds. It's got just enough diesel sound to it to let you know that it's a truck. When the first 6.7 Power Stroke I tested was in, 2011, the first year they came out. And to me, that truck was too quiet. And it could have just been me going from a 2009 F-250 with a 6.4 Power Stroke to that 2011 with the 6.7. But to me, it was too quiet, and I compared it to a Mercedes diesel. It just sounded too car-like. This one makes just the right amount of diesel noises, and maybe my tastes have changed in those 8 years. But I think this one just sounds spot on. It's not too loud, but it's not too quiet either. It has all the right diesel-y noises. I can actually just fire it up for you. I'm sure you guys have probably heard one of these before, but I will crank it up here. The productivity screen's nice too. Oh, another fantastic feature I like, and we had these on the F-150 is these spotlights in the mirrors. It's kind of hard to show off, but it has these nice little spotlights in the mirror for going down a dark road at night. You can turn those on. I wish there was a mode where you could turn them on and leave them on, but there's not, at least not that I found. Pop this hood here. But yeah, it sounds like a proper diesel. It's not too loud, but it's got a nice throaty, diesel-y sound to it. There's not much to see under here besides wiring and hoses, and there's plenty of that. Just close that down. Shut her off here. There's another little neat thing they added. You've got plenty of cup holders, but if you need more cup holders, just slide that over. Now you've got 2 more cup holders. That's a neat little feature. One of the things though that I wish that Ford would address, sorry for the camera shake there, is the Nav Screen, touchscreen and everything. I think it's just a little bit on the small side now. They need to make this bigger, more prominent. Dodge has done a good job with their interiors, and the Super Duty interior is the same as the F-150, is the same as the Expedition. Well, I won't say it's not the same as the Expedition, but the overall shape and everything is pretty much identical. And I think it's time for an update and maybe differentiate a little bit between the half tons and the larger trucks. That's just my opinion. But one thing I really do like on this interior on the Limited is you get this cross-hatching pattern on some of the trim. And it looks like a cylinder wall that's just been honed. And I think that is really cool. And it actually has a texture that you can feel. Let me see, you can probably actually, you can sort of hear that. I like that. Looks nice. Looks a lot better than some of the other options that I've seen. My only other real complaint with this truck is the same one everybody's going to have basically, is the price. These things are just really expensive. This one stickers for like, I think it's $84,000. That's pretty steep if you ask me. But you're getting a lot of truck for the money, and this thing is made to last. It's made to work. The frame looks fantastic, huge, strong. Same with the engine transmission package, the axles. You get a Super Dana 60 up front. This one's interesting. I'm surprised it still has the corporate 10.5-inch rear. I thought they all went to the newer metric Dana axles, but I suppose if you get just a standard F-250 without a heavy towing package or anything. You get the old style Ford corporate 10.5 inch axle, which is a good axle. It's a good axle. I've had that in other stuff. But lastly, on the things that I like on these new trucks, and this is sort of across the board with the half tons as well, and a lot of Ford vehicles for that matter, it's just all the cameras this thing has on it. Like, there's a camera hiding here. There's one in the front here. That's handy when pulling into a parking space. And of course, like I said, you got the side camera. You've got the traditional one and the tailgate here for backing up onto a hitch or trailer hitch. And finally, my absolute favorite is your one in the cargo box here pointing down at your gooseneck. As someone who tows a gooseneck trailer a lot, that is excellent. I wish I had that on my 09 truck. Just being able to see that. I mean, if you do it often enough, couple and uncouple, you will get used to where you need to be. And you know, the first time out in the season, it takes me about two or three tries to get the ball lined up perfectly. But after I've done it for a week or two, it's one shot and go. But that is a nice aid. It helps. So that's pretty much it for the pluses and minuses I see with this truck. Overall, it's a fantastic truck. I mean, if I was buying a new Super Duty, I would definitely, or if I was just, say I'm looking for a new heavy duty truck. To me, if I'm looking for a heavy duty truck, of course I'm looking for a Ford, but I would definitely buy a new Super Duty. I would probably get a lower trim level. Don't need a limited. I would probably be more interested in like an XLT with the Sport Appearance package or something like that. I like my trucks to look a little bit sportier than this. This is a classy look though. Oh, another little neat feature we found. You have the tow hooks here. On my 09, you know, the grill would lift up and you can stand right here. Well, on this one you can't, but there's still enough room to stand on the tow hook while you're working on the engine, you know, changing the oil or anything like that. So I like being able to stand on the tow hooks. But even after all this time with the truck, I still have one question, and I'm hoping you guys can help me answer this because I have not figured it out yet. I haven't done any research on it. But I did take a tape measure and tried to figure this out. Is this truck wider interior-wise? Is there more interior width in this truck than the old first generation Super Duties? Because I have an 09, and sitting in that, the 09 feels like it's wider. But I pulled out a tape measure and measured all over the interior of this one and all over the interior of mine. And of course, you know, because of the shape of the door panels and things like that, you can't get a spot-on comparison, but they're almost identical. There's maybe a ½ inch here, a ½ inch there, difference in them. But something about this truck makes it feel narrower. I'm not sure what it is. It's probably the center console going the entire way, and on my 09 it sort of just has a half console with room in the middle if there was, say, a manual transmission in there, which was available on those years. Can't get it on this though. And I think it might be that full-length console that makes the truck actually feel a little bit more narrow than it really is. But I don't know. Like I said, I haven't done any research. I just did take a tape measure and try to measure it out, and it's just about impossible to compare it because of the shape of the door panels and the pillars and things like that. But if you guys know, please put a comment below or go over to SVTP and post your findings on that. I'm not sure, but I would really like to know. See if you, if anybody has been in both generations of trucks has experienced the same thing. But that's pretty much it for this review. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And if you have, please head over to svtperformance.com and let us know. And like I always say, we have a full article with tons of pics and a lot more info over there on the SVTP front page. We have the link in the description, so go ahead and click that. And as always, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 10,000 users before too long. I don't want to put a specific date on it, but I would like to get to 10,000 users. So if you could, or 10,000 subscribers, sorry. So if you could, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We would appreciate it, and we will see you next time.